Welcome to my list of top 10 turn-based games on sale, but it's not just any top 10 turn-based game. No. These are all games that are at least 40% on sale. The nuclear war has ended the human civilization, but not every human. Now you will take control of a caravan of merchants in this post-apocalyptic sandy world, and you will just try to survive. Be negotiating and bartering to gain different resources. You will be building and defending your settlement, including exploring bunkers, establishing and operating underground bases, developing factories and facilities to increase the economic output of your settlement. The game has a turn-based combat. We're going to be fighting other people, but also like snakes and different other monsters that you discover in this world. Now the game has a 40% discount on Steam. Now the sales typically last about a week, so till the 19th of December. Some of these will be on Humble Bundle and some of these will be on Steam. I will let you know. The game also has handmade character drawings, which I think is pretty interesting. Now, we all know that robots will take over the world. I mean, it's not even a debate at this point, or is it? But what if, instead of fighting for the humans, you chose to betray your own kind and fight with the enemy? Well, Robotorium allows you to do that. This is a turn-based combat game where you're going to be controlling a troop of robots, and you will be leading your own robotic revolution. So you're going to be playing with these different robots, which each have their own abilities. Each unit will have their own HP and shield, as is common in turn-based games, but also there is this overheating mechanic, which essentially, if you use up too many of your abilities, you might overheat yourself, which gives you a negative effect. And you can also try to focus on doing different synergies between your different attacks, which is pretty cool. The game also has online multiplayer, which I have not played though. I've only played the single player game, just so you know. Now, next up I have for you a roguelike deck builder, which is a 60% on sale, and it's also on Humble Bundle. And it's called the Neurodeck Psychological Deck Builder. So oftentimes in deck builders, you're fighting these kind of semi-random monsters, usually fantasy-based, and it's kind of like, why am I fighting you? Like, who are you? Well, Neurodeck has an answer to that, because you're not fighting random monsters. No, you're fighting your very own fears. Which I took to heart when I played the Let's Play of this game, and I got real scared in this game. It was totally a fail on my part. If you want to see it, it's in my Let's Play of the game. It's within like the first 5 minutes. So if you want to watch me get scared, you can have fun. Anyway, and as always, there are gameplays for almost every game on this list on my main channel. Sampstra games will be linked to the Let's Plays in the description. So Neurodeck is about facing your fears, and you're going to be fighting these enemies that represent your phobia with your cards. Now the game has stamina and sanity. Sanity works kind of like HP, and stamina kind of works like your mana, because you have action points, so you can use limited amount of cards per turn, but you also have to pay stamina to use those cards. And I really like the different take on the deck builder that this game had. Now, speaking of Humble Bundle, I will be providing 2 links in the description. I will be providing an affiliate link if you want to support me through your purchase, and I will also be providing a normal link if you're not a fan of that. Banners of Ruin is a roguelike deck builder with a 65% discount, where you're going to be playing as one of the animals. You can play as bears or weasels or wolves, and you can build a party up to 6 to return to battle your enemies. The game has this interesting 2-lane system where essentially some of your attacks will only affect enemies in a certain lane, and you can also somewhat protect the people behind you in different lanes. You also have some sort of equipment system, and the equipment system will affect which cards you can use for different characters. I also really like the graphics of this game. This game is quite beautiful, and I have enjoyed this map because it's a little bit different. You don't see the standard roguelike deck builder map. Instead, you have these kind of cards, and you move to the sides, and these cards stay for a certain amount of turns, so you can come back to them later or bypass them if you choose to do so. Now it's time to go back to the 1970s, but not ours, an alternative one, where an enormous artifact, the Dome, is discovered in a remote desert. Now this is a turn-based combat game, and it's also like an RPG called Encase, a sci-fi post-apocalyptic RPG. We're going to be fighting enemies, exploring the wasteland, leveling up your character, and joining one of the forces in the world. You're also going to be crafting, doing different negotiations, and just trying to do your best to survive. Now, this game will have 67% off on Humble Bundle. Next up, we're going to talk about Alder's Blood Definitive Edition, which is a 70% discount on Steam. This is a turn-based combat game, but also has RPG element, crafting, resources gathering, management, and etc. And there are two things I want to say about this game. First of all, it's set in a world where mankind killed their god and is now facing extinction. Like, how? What? Killed their god? How does that even work? But the second thing I want to focus on more on this game is that this is actually a game focused on stealth instead of straight up combat. So you're not going to be, most of the time you don't just want to go up to an enemy and kill them in this game. Instead, you want to kind of try to sneak around quietly and throw rocks to make the enemies facing away from you. And then you're going to strike with your dagger deep into their back. And as they drop to the ground, you will hide behind the stench of their blood so the rest of them can smell you. There is smell in the game. It doesn't work with the corpses, but there is a smell focus on the game, so you have to focus on where the wind goes so that the enemies cannot smell you. Now let's talk about a woman who has to face her own fears. No, not me. No. We're going to talk about Iris. The game has very minimalist graphic and really nice, like, melancholic and poetic story. But what I like the most about this game, I think, is the combat, because it works a little bit different than in most combat. First of all, a lot of these cards are just like a one-time use. So you have to, when you go into the next combat, at the end of combat, you have to pick, like, as a reward which cards you're going to get, like, for the next one. And the enemies are sort of pushing down towards you in these lanes, which is really interesting and makes for some fun mechanics. The zombies are taking over the world. Can you stop them, or will you become one of them? Dead Age 2 Zombie Survival RPG is a game about surviving zombies. It's going to be starting in your very own base where you can upgrade different rooms and craft different items, and then you're going to be moving out into the map to try to gather resources. And you will also, and as you're going to be moving around, you will be fighting against zombies. There also might be people who will straight up attack your base camp, so you have to defend there. And it can be zombies or some other factions or enemies. The combat is turn-based. The combat is also played in rows, so you can, like, place certain combatants or, like, tankish in the front row to protect your ranged combat allies, and you're going to be able to deploy turrets, hunting dogs, tigers, a variety of different weapons. It's a really cool game with, like, a variety of different things that you can do, and it's a 75% off on Steam. Now, heroes tend to go out into enemy lairs and caves and just beat them up and destroy the enemy and come back with the treasure, and we all celebrate them because they're the heroes. But have you ever thought about it from the other perspective? Just chilling in your own cave, having a good time, and suddenly these pesky heroes come and try to kill all your people, and you're like, what happened? Just chilling in my cave. Why are you attacking me? What's up? Well, Legend of the Keepers allows you to show these heroes who's the boss. Career of a Dungeon Manager. This is such a cool game. So this is a game where you are gonna be placing your monsters and your traps into your own cave, and as the heroes are going to be coming, you're gonna be trying to like destroy them with your monsters. And a cool feature of this game that I personally quite enjoy is the morale system. So you can either straight up do damage and kill the enemies, or you can try to use like banshees and different monsters of yours to try to lower the morale of the heroes and make them run away. And obviously, as you do damage to other heroes, it will also lower their morale, and they will start running in fear away from you. And if all your monsters die, that's okay, because you personally will come to the end of the cave and beat them up yourself. And you can also level up your different monsters, and it's such a fun idea. It's like such a different, a really cool choice on the game, and it's 75% off on Steam. Next up, we have Unity of Command 2 with a 67% discount. The discount is on Steam, and this is a war game. I wasn't originally gonna put war games on this list because I have a separate video for top 10 war games that are on sale, and another video with like 4X strategy games and war game-ish games on sale. So I was like, I'm not gonna put war games in this list, but to be honest, I have run out of the games for this list, because this is only like a week-long sale, so there's not that many game, guys. And especially if I'm filtering this for the ones that I like, then like there's not that many game. Okay, so we're putting a war game here. I'm sorry, I wasn't gonna do it, but it's here. So Unity of Command 2 is a war game that really doesn't need much introduction, especially if you are familiar with me, because I have like a million guides on this game on my channel, and I love this game so much. And I played like every single DLC that was for this game, which by the way, there's a brand new DLC, Desert Fog, coming out recently. Check it out on my main channel, Sampstra Games. But anyway, Unity of Command 2 is a war game that focuses on World War II. This is a really cool thing about this war game is that a lot of these features, or like the depth of it, can be somewhat hidden. So you can play it fairly easily, you know, it's a war game, but easily for war games. Without necessarily understanding the depth of it. You obviously won't be as good, but you can still kind of play it and have an understanding. So it can be considered like a gateway to some of the more complex war games. Now, a big focus on this game is on supply, because a lot of the time the way to win a scenario is by cutting off the enemy from their supplies. So you gotta figure out how to do that. The campaign is dynamic, so there's sort of like alternate history scenarios that you can go through. And it's a really good war game. Like, I enjoyed this game so much, and there's a lot of depth in it that, like I said, I have a lot of guides on it, so if you want to learn more, you can. Now, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit the like button, and you can click on the right to watch that top 10 war games on sale list I have already mentioned. See you there. Bye-bye.